Welcome, everybody. Happy Friends Day. What do I say? Like Wednesday, Friends Day. Oh my goodness, I can barely think right now. I'm so excited to be here. Well, let's get this kick started. If you've been listening for a while, you know my voice. And if you're watching, you get to see me talk. This is your co-host, Adam Halbleib, Beach Bum Xotics, and I'm excited to be here tonight. For my social stuff, you can find me over on the regulars, Instagram, Facebook. And if you're looking for some ball pythons, I have some listed over on Morph Market, Reptile Ads, and Husbandry Pro Marketplace. All right. And I got my awesome co-host with me. Sir, take it away tonight.
Shane Kelley, Small Town Exotics, Patreon, Instagram, all the cool places, Reptile Ads, and also I'm admin over on Genetic Calculator, which is in a live beta. So everyone go check out Genetic Calculator. See you over there. We actually did an episode on that back in December, so go check that out. And our wonderful technical producer, Jay from Greenline Morphs. You can find him on Morph Market, Instagram, and Reptile Ads.
Nice. Dude, I've been using their Genetic Calculator, and I submitted some stuff. Thank you for approving those pictures. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. I did it.
Yeah, good job.
And I got DJM.
Oh, dude, that's awesome. I love that shirt.
Yeah, McNamara.
Nice.
Dennis.
Nice. Yeah. Sorry, I cut you off. What were you about to say about the Genetic Calculator?
I've approved a bunch of photos over there, and I have rejected some too for bad photos.
Okay.
Incorrect species or morph. So, I'm not just over there wing dinging it. And Jessica's over there helping me from Hair Hollow Farm too. Like I said, it's a live beta. So everyone go over there, geneticcalculator.com, and check it out.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I've been liking it. Calculator's pretty nice. Gallery's pretty cool. Feels fun contributing. So if you guys have some good pictures, submit some stuff if you're not seeing it in the gallery. Let's try and build that little database.
I like the identify section.
We
need to get some more eyes and traffic on that. But once there's a solid community built where you can get a bunch of input, like, hey, I think what's the ID on this? Here's the pairing. I think it's this. And then you could have anyone select the genetics they think based off your pairing and give a percentage of how sure they are on their ID too. Really handy.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. I weighed in on that one that you had. I wanted to submit one up there. Actually, I've got I think 2 snakes I'm going to put up there trying to see if chocolate's in there. I would love to hear what people have to say. So
yeah, man. Yeah.
All right. Dude, how have you been? Any happenings within your little area over there? What's up?
Same old. It is now a new year though. So that's changed. It's right? 2026. As far as anything new and recent, I got 2 clutches in the incubator. I'm kind of at my slow period. Hognose are brumating. Right. So I'm on brumation vacation. I'm kind of enjoying the lower workload right now and just enjoying life. And how's it going over there on your end?
Going good. Had a puzzle clutch hatch out and shed and all of that. So super stoked. It was a sterling puzzle for the sire to I thought was just a coral glow het puzzle, but proved out to be a pastel coral glow het puzzle. So, I mean, for me, I'm okay with that because I like pastel and I like it in my puzzle stuff. Wound up with good results, had 8 viable eggs, 9 total from that first time mama, but one of them was a slug. So 8 viable, and out of that got 4 puzzles. So, and the cool thing was I was actually showing Heather some of the pictures I took, and she goes, "Wait a second, are each one of those snakes different?" And yes, actually, like not any of them are the same genes. They're all different, which is pretty cool. Out of 8 eggs.
Yeah, that is cool. Nice variety. Yeah.
Yeah. Got some coral glow stuff. Got some, stuff without it. A couple super pastel stuff. Some singles pastel stuff. So, yep, I'm happy
Yeah.
because it's puzzle.
So, do you count? Is that a 2026 clutch or a 25?
All right. So it's funny. I was, in a group and we were kind of talking about that and everything like that. It's a 26 clutch. I look more at the hatch date, right? Because that's what I'm going to write as the birth date, right? I don't write the laid date for the birthday. So I think it's my first clutch of 2026. That's how I'm talking about. And that's how I labeled it on the ID that I wrote was clutch 1.
I used to always be the other way. I would, whenever they laid, that's when I fill out the clutch card.
Mm-hmm.
So it would always be for that year. And I always had some that were laid, say 25, born in the early part of January or just January in general. But for the first time ever, I had a clutch drop and the due date's Valentine's Day. And I was like, man, that's just too far out to be putting it as a 25. So even though it was laid in 25, so I'm like, this is the first time I'm labeling as a 26, and that's the first one of the year. So I got 2 26s in the incubator right now.
And right. Nice.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I just I don't think it really matters too much, but it is one of those kind of mental things, right? My clutch was laid in 25, but hatched in 26. Is it a 26 or is it 3?
Right.
So, yeah. But anyhow, so I'm going with hatch date now. That's how I'll be labeling all my stuff. But yeah, stoked. It's a puzzle clutch. So, bro, that's what I'm shooting for. So, that's it. My incubator is empty now.
Do you want to do a year in review first, or would you like to talk about the super show that you happened to attend recently before we do anything else?
Let's chat about the super show a little bit, and then maybe talk about our last episode a bit too, just real quick. And then and let's jump into the year in review after. All right. Super show was fun. I hadn't been to a reptile show since the previous January, and it was the super show last January too. It's right in my backyard, so it's like, how could you not go? But Rami, who's the show promoter, always puts on an amazing show. He's done a really good job at getting some variety. It's still definitely dominated by ball pythons, but you do get quite a bit of variety. Like there were a ton of monitors over there. Lots of boas as well, plenty of hognose. There was like different turtles. There were quite a few really cool like bioactive enclosures with some frogs in them. There was definitely a variety. It was nice. But me being there primarily for the ball pythons, that's what I was looking for. I was also this close to almost getting a dry mark on from Black Pearl Reptiles. I really want one bad. Like, I was settled on an Eastern Indigo that I called Heather, and she's like, "You promised no more animals," and I'm like, "Well, it's just this one."
It's always just one, right?
But she's totally right. I did promise, and I'm not moved back into the garage yet, so I put that on hold. Let's see, some honorable mentions while I was there for ball pythons. There were some pretty cool ones, actually. Mainly clown. I think this show, the bangers that were out there were definitely clown. There was some nice puzzles, but clowns, I think, won the show. There was over on Renowned's table, Nick. He had a pretty sick redhead lace clown that looked really, really good. He had some Wookiee clown stuff that looked amazing as well. And then I think for me, like those animals of his, I think were the most visually impacting. And then there was a couple animals that I saw like crazy potential in, and that was some McKinsey project animals over on Portuguese Python's table.
Right.
He had some really cool McKinsey stuff. Yeah, just it showed me that maybe, maybe looking over in that direction again might be worth it. The interaction that I saw with some of the genes that he had with McKinsey was definitely bringing that project back for me a little bit and made me want to go stare at it again. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, man, that's cool. I've always been a McKinsey fan. I don't have any, but it's always been one of the ones I like. And I would expect nothing less from the likes of Portuguese pythons and Renowned. You know, they
Yeah.
they both produce really good animals, so that's good. How was the attendance?
Attendance was crazy, dude. Like Saturday, it was Rami did a really good job of making the aisles wide, but they
Yeah,
felt tiny. It was that many people. You know what I mean?
right.
But he did a good job with the flow. Like at the very middle of the building, there it kind of opens up, and so a lot of that just kind of piles into each other got to disperse right there, and then all the way around, tons of people. I think I heard somewhere numbers north of like 35,000, right? In
That's a lot of
attendance.
people.
A lot of people.
Yeah.
Sunday was not as many people, but way more strollers. So you couldn't really tell that it was less people. Strollers everywhere.
Strollers need like their own lane anywhere though. Like a reptile
For
show, a
real.
supermarket, they need their own lane.
I agree, man. I love seeing all the kids being super excited, so I'm not complaining. But when you're trying to walk around and see tables, they are the enemy of your feet and ankles and everything else.
Yeah, yeah. So,
But
did you happen to talk to any of the vendors about like how the sales were going? Were they moving animals, and what price range?
yeah,
What kind of snakes were moving? You know.
sure. Without talking specifics on who, it was definitely interesting because there were some vendors there that like I've talked to them and they're like, this is the second time I've had to refresh all of my displays, sold them out, put new animals in, and my sales are going great, right? And then there were some other vendors that were like, well, I'm getting a few sales, but nothing over like $500. It's like 500 and below type of animals that are selling for me. And
Right.
then there was a few that were like, man, I can't get anybody to get anything. Um, so it was kind of an interesting show like that. Those were primarily ball python breeders that I was talking to and kind of asking that question. I know pretty much if you like a lot of the animal breeders outside of ball pythons, I think we're doing fine, right? They were selling
Right.
stuff. I know like Bushfield Warren Klein over at Bushfield Reptiles, he does the African house pythons, and
Right.
those were moving quite well. I know I saw a ton of empty little slots in his, so I know a lot of people were buying those, stuff like that.
So I got a follow up question for you. So those vendors that you talked to with mixed results, what was the difference in your opinion? The animals they had offered? Was it price points? Were they
Hmm.
different projects between the people you talked to?
Yes. Yeah, there was. So one of the tables that I know have refreshed quite a bit. Um, they had more sunset and ultramel stuff on their table, and
Okay.
they said that they moved quite a bit, right? Which I was a little surprised on. But I could see why as well, because they had some really nice animals right around that 700 to $1,000 mark with those genes in them. And those genes were going first, but they were really visually impacting. Like you walked by and they were very bright and nice looking. Minus the sunset. I'm talking the ultramel stuff.
Right.
The sunset stuff, though, they were one of the few to have a lot of visual representation of sunset. So maybe that's why their stuff was moving quite a bit too. Most of the mediocre kind of like the tables that weren't doing bad or good were they were selling mainly clown stuff from what I could see. And then a lot of animals within that sub 500, it didn't really seem to matter too much because it seemed like they were going to pet people from what I was hearing.
Right.
So wasn't really project related. The people were mainly going for whatever visually kind of struck their fancy at that point.
Yeah, once you get to the pet buyers, it's like price point and what catches their eye with, whatever their budget is, and it's random. Yeah. From my experience or whatever. Well, that's really cool, man. I remember the Super Show. Everyone that's out there. I originally lived in California, and I think those are the biggest shows. They're bigger than Tinley, so it's definitely the biggest show I've been to. So
nice. I think I overheard Rami saying the building that we're in now is 3 acres of land.
Yeah.
Right. So that's a lot of square feet. Yeah, I think people wise, I would say it's probably bigger than Tinley. Vendor wise, and the animals you see, I think Tinley's going to be a hard one to dethrone. I think a lot of breeders show up to Tinley with their like crazy animals, right? You see a lot more not for sale stuff at Tinley. I think, Pomona, you got to see some bangers as well, some really cool things, but just think it's a little different kind of people coming into that one. So. Yeah.
It's for people out there that may have never been to a Super Show and you want to go visit California at the same time. I would recommend it.
Yeah. It happens twice a year, January, and then I believe the other one is in June. It's in summertime, maybe August now. I can't remember, but it's in summer. So
yeah, cool, man. Right on. I'm glad you had a good time. And I know from talking to you on the phone, you got to hang out with Joel, so that was cool.
That was a blast, man. Getting to see Joel in person. Haven't seen him in a long while, and then Nick was kind enough to let me crash in behind his table here and there if I needed a little reprieve. So yeah, it was cool hanging out with both Joel and Nick, and then 6'6" Serpents Ryan from up north. He's probably one of the funniest human beings I think I've ever met in person. Like he had us laughing 24/7. It was amazing. And then Nick's son Nicholas helped vend, so that was a lot of fun getting to hang out with him too. So it was a good crowd.
Chris from 319 Reptiles chimed in and said Kaufman did a video. Pomona is twice as big as Tinley with half the amount of vendors. So that's an interesting setup ratio there. That's pretty cool. Yeah,
that is interesting. I didn't realize half the vendor. I'd believe it though, because kind of walking around, it didn't vendor wise. It's just not quite as much, and you do feel that space wise though. It's huge.
Yeah, you would think that would work out good for the vendors. You got that many people in attendance with half the competition, so there's more money to be spread around the vendors that are there. In theory,
yeah, definitely. I know when I vended Pomona, because I've vended Pomona, and then what was the other show I did? It was down in Costa Mesa. I don't remember who put that one on. And yeah, the Pomona show I always made good money vending. I never had a bad show on that one. So the Costa Mesa show, in comparison, Pomona was always better.
Right on.
Yeah, bro.
So, in our rewind segment, man, we had Jim on as the first guest of the year, first episode of the year. I don't know about you, but I had a blast doing that episode.
Me too. I love talking with Jim, and he delivered, dude. He showed up ready, A game, and really gave us a nice show and tell, which I was impressed. He did convert me, right? Like if they know what they're doing, like, yeah, I got this set up and it's gonna look good. I will be more apt to listen to people now and be like, all right, cool, let's give it a go.
Right.
He showed off the adder gene, a bunch of that, and that was super cool. That project, I think it's got some legs on it. I think we'll see more people hopefully start working with it soon. What do you think?
Yeah, I totally agree. So on both fronts, Jim's a professional. So when he told me like, hey, I'm gonna do 2 feeds and everything, I was like, yeah, man, whatever. You got it. I trust you. And then so he was good on that front. That worked out great. It was better, easier on us than like trying to get pictures that were online and share the screen. We got to see live things, so there's interactive questions. That worked out great, Jim. So good job on that, Jim, if you're listening. And then the adder, man, I've been liking what he's doing with adder for a while, and it was cool just to see different combos and hear the routes he's going and all that. I agree with you on adder. I think it's got some legs, and I would expect over the next couple of years you're going to see more people working it and seeing it go in different directions. You know?
Yeah, definitely. I agree. I was trying to think, all right, where would I take it? You know, and I mean, obvious just because of how my collection's kind of built, it would definitely go into my puzzle stuff and all of that. But I was trying to think like what other incomplete dominant traits would you add with it to kind of pop it or do something? I don't know. What are you thinking? What's one gene you could think of adding to adder?
Me personally, I would go with Hurricane, Wookie, something like
Wookie,
Cypress. I
Cypress.
love, dude. Cypress would be probably a cool mix with that, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah. And of course I would like, I mean, with me, it would be in Genetic Stripe Clown Project. I would like to see a genetic stripe adder though, just to see if it has some kind of reaction similar to the clowns. Because I mean, they're both kind of like a genetic blackback. So
Right.
it might, blow up and do something crazy,
Yeah, take that stripe and just kind of throw it around. That could be
Right.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was, it's just I guess that's how I'm trying to look at potential projects now. It's not just, all right, do I like that single form? I think there's got to be a little more for it to really kind of come to the collection for me to want to work with it. And I got to kind of see it in some other stuff, I think, first. But Adder's one of those that every time I see it mixed with something, my mind starts going, okay, hey, I think you could plug in this, you know,
Right.
blackhead possibly bringing it more into the blacks, right? Might be cool, reducing some of that. Um, I don't know. Hypo is an obvious, right? I think hypo lace adder would be ridiculous, actually. Getting that lifting from the lace, the
Yeah.
darker black in there, um, interacting with the hypo. So,
Yeah, no, I agree with you. We kind of talked about blackhead while we're on the air, and I was thinking
mhm.
lace would be a good addition too, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. Yeah, I really like the project. And I'm like you too. It's got to be more than just like, oh, I like the single form, I want to see what it's been worked with and all that stuff too, and see the kind of what reactions have been done, and that kind
Yeah.
of gives you a clue if it's going to work in your collection or not. And that's also, here's, I'm getting on a soapbox for a minute. That's also when you get into a project like that, you're going to pay a higher price tag because whoever's working it, like Jim, he spent how many years did he say?
Oh,
So he's spent years and years getting to the point that he's at now. So if he's going to release something, this isn't like a $100 snake or something.
right. Right. And yeah, thanks for saying that because that's what I was just about to say. Like, even though I was just saying, like, well, I want to see it in some other stuff before I commit. Well, when it's a newer project or a project that's not worked very much, man, hats off to those guys that were like, hey, I'm going to go for it. I'm just going to mix it over here. I'm going to mix it with this. Okay. See what sticks to the wall. Um,
Right.
And so hats off to y'all, because I really do appreciate that groundwork you're putting in.
Yeah,
um,
for sure.
really for real. And it allows people like me to kind of sit back, watch, and be a little bit more selective with what I'm bringing in. That's what my size collection kind of dictates, though, right? And I'm fine with that. I try and think like, man, what if a new gene were to come across my lap? I don't know what I would do, right? Because you got to expand, you got to breed it, you got to figure it out. But I don't know if I'd have the space or the time.
I'm kind of in that boat right now with shrapnel. It's been around, it's been proven. There's a super, all that stuff. There's been some stuff done with it, not a whole bunch, but even just having that gene there, it's not like I got a main project, genetic striped clown, that's always doing something every year. It's kind of in the background. I'm not always showing what's going on because I strike out a lot with odds, but I can't eat up too many of those females with a lesser work gene either. So, I got to, there's only so much progress that can happen each year, you know?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's funny. We used to, I guess we're at a point now where we're used to things happening so quick that it's
Right.
just kind of like, well, I guess I got to go about this the slow way. Where that was just the way it was about 10 years ago. Right?
Yeah. And I was going to bring up too, like if you're buying in, since we're talking about adder, if you really want it in, there might be a possibility there's not hets in your project made with it. And you might be buying an animal that has a gene that you don't necessarily want right away. I mean, but
Yeah.
selection is limited, and when I was getting in 2019, I would have to buy snakes then that they might have a gene like lesser or something in there. Not that I'm not a lesser hater. Maybe I didn't necessarily want it, but that's what was available and all that was available at the time. So you would buy them, and that's just how it was. So
Right. Right. Exactly. Yeah. And the thought process was, well, if I didn't want that one gene with it, it's okay. I'll get the animal in and I'll breed the other gene out. Right.
right.
That was always kind of the concept, but it seems like today people are like, nah, if it's got pastel, forget about it. Don't even, exclude on the traits.
Yeah,
uh,
the buyers right now are pretty spoiled,
yeah,
just because of the way the market is. But I would assume that it would not be like this forever, because it wasn't always like this. But who knows? I can't predict the future.
yeah. I'm just here along for the ride. You know what I mean? I will
Yeah,
have
man.
to say, don't dismiss certain animals though, just because it's got something that you may not like. I can understand people staying away from spider. It's got a neurological thing. So, but
Right.
if it's maybe a gene you don't really like how it looks, I mean, you could always breed it out, but anyhow, certain projects, I think you're going to have to make some compromises or wait, right? And that's what I'm doing. I'll probably end up waiting for that right kind of animal to come along that I see in the project that really shows me, okay, yeah, I'm definitely going to devote some attention, some space that way.
Yeah, and you kind of hit the nail on the head there. Really, the trade off is time, right? Like
Hmm.
you buy in now and start putting hets, double hets, whatever your plan is now, or wait until something that's more attuned to what you want comes along. But that could be 1 year, 5 years, 10 years. I mean, you never know.
Yeah, right. And you got to be okay. Just kind of, if that's the approach you're going to take, somebody else might beat you to it, right? And it
Yeah,
might
yeah,
be that banger that you really wish that you were the one. But
yeah,
there's
for sure.
Gilded Scale saying a lot of people seem to be recommending limiting any white supermorphs. Yeah, you know, and I could see why. It's kind of a dead end, right? What do you do with an all white snake after that? That's kind of the end of the road with that project. I don't know. Myself, I definitely am trying to keep certain morphs that produce all white or all brown snakes, black snakes out of my males as much as possible. But that's going to be impossible after a little while, right? So,
Right.
I don't
Yeah,
know. What do you?
it happens. I tried going that route too, but this year I hit 2 ivories and a super fire. I knew it
Mhm.
was. I mean, I knew that was a possibility, obviously, but I mean, it's not the end of the world. You know,
No,
I like yellow belly and I like fire, and that's just one of the downsides. The upside to that is this could be arguable, but in my opinion, the snakes in a complex that produce a white snake are usually the more reactive in their heterozygous form. So that's why
Mm.
they're the ones that produce a white snake. Like yellow belly is probably the most reactive of the yellow belly complex, so
True.
fire,
And by
fire,
reactive,
fire.
you mean more pop when it touches, say, like something simple like pastel, right? It could make it
Right.
really orange and crazy looking, right?
Right. And like same with fire. Fire's like the more powerful out of that complex. Like it does more oomph than like a disco or a vanilla, usually in a combo, So
Yeah, I've never really looked at it like that, huh? But you're right, though. That's an interest, yeah, because like gravel and asphalt, they look great, but like a yellow belly version of the other combos will typically like kind of pop more, be more colorful. Yeah. Huh.
right.
Dude, that's cool, dude. I hadn't even really thought about it like that. That's
I learned that from Jessica Hare. She's the one that pointed that out to me. So full credit to her, giving
yeah.
props where props is due.
And she's a smart one right there. She notices stuff like that. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, man. So
319 was disproving you though. He said he has some sulfur that almost looks steechy.
well, I'm just saying it's a rule of thumb,
It's not 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
But sulfur, I out of the two, sulfur and fire, I always like sulfur better because I wanted the opportunity to produce that extremely blotchy yellow and white animal. And
Right.
back in the day, that was kind of the going deal, right? Was sulfur did that
Right.
more. Will's hella
Well,
his wife. Shane looking like Bull Hurley from over there.
Because Shane is an old man now and has to wear glasses, so that's part of it, But I got them guns for top,
Right?
from over the top too. You got to do that move over
Yeah.
the thumb. Yeah, that was
then,
such a good movie.
It over.
Yeah, and he had the cable weights in his truck.
Oh
while
yeah, while
he
was driving. That was such a good movie. That's like optimum primo 80s movie right there, dude.
Yeah, man. Back when life was good and it was simple. It was like there were good guys and there were bad guys.
Jessica's out there. Are they bifocals?
So actually, these are not my permanent ones. The ones I have are like trifocals. Yes, they are progressives, so they like whatever. But you notice that I'm like reading comments tonight because I could see them. There's a so
it wouldn't be a 2026 without Will and Jessica busting some balls out there in chat. So thank you all. Appreciate that.
Yeah, Jessica probably just showed up. Mr. Huzo shout out. I was like giving her a reach around and on my knees, doing it all. All right, I'll be appropriate.
So yeah, back to the episode. Adder, go get you some. Check it out. Last week's episode, we did some show and tell. It's actually good quality show and tell. So I am recommending to go watch it.
Yeah, hit up Jim, Ectothermic Dungeon on all the platforms. Yeah, Ectothermic Dungeon. So
yeah.
All right. Let's jump into our year in review, man. What do you say?
I love it, dude. Do we want to do next week's guest announcement real quick?
That's probably smart before we forget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I almost forgot 100%.
All right, so I'll announce him because he's my friend.
All
He's a great guy. This is what happens if Chong and the Big Lebowski had a child, man. There's Kevin from Mutant Reptiles, and he's a great guy. I've known him since the beginning. He was a leopard gecko guy. He does hog noses, bird eaters, Barons racers. And I'm telling you, for a guy that's never owned a ball python, he knows more about ball pythons than some of the ball python breeders I know. Because why is that? Because he's a reptile enthusiast and he watches all the podcasts out there and listens to them while he's at work. So that's kind of how me and him connected, was through a leopard gecko podcast. And he used to watch my channel when I was super active with normal YouTube and everything. But he watches, mutation creation. He knows all about like monsoon, DG, and everything. Never owned a ball python, man. He's a great guy.
I'm looking forward to it, especially getting that outside perspective, right? From somebody, right? You know what I mean? I think it'll be pretty cool. And then to hear just about different species and what people do with, all that stuff. I think it's going to be a great episode. So.
Yeah, man, he's a really cool guy. So everyone jump in next week and come give Kevin a round of applause and a pat on the back and give him a hug and all that. So, yeah.
Nice. All right. There we go. So let's jump in. You had the great idea of doing a little bit of like a 2025 recap, and I love it. So let's jump into that. Let's talk about that.
All right. We could go like one, I'll make a point, and then you can make a point about the year, and we could just go back and forth. All right. Highlight reel.
Okay.
All right. Sound good?
Sure.
All right. I'm going to go first. The relaunch of Reptiles Unplugged. Bam.
Bam. Yeah. So let's see. What our first show was it April that we ended up going live last year?
I thought it was February.
February.
I could be wrong.
Sorry. You're right. It was February. Yeah. It was like mid-February. Yeah. That was interesting. Little time period in my reptile career, right? Because I was thinking about coming back. I was thinking about breeding again. You and I were talking on the kind of back scene, and I really have to say thank you for being so persistent over the years of, hey, are you going to do the podcast again? Are you coming back, man? And you were one of the few that really just was just sending that text every once in a while. How you doing? What's going on? And I truly appreciate that. So without you, bro, this would not 2020. We would not be having a 2025 recap if it wasn't for you. So thank you.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate it. What was the highlight you'd like to bring up?
So kind of, I guess, trying to keep it in a little bit of chronological. The next highlight for me was getting introduced to Jay at Greenline Morphs. So you guys coming in really brought a level of professionalism to the show that it didn't have before. So the technical production of Jay, getting to meet him through this show for me was a huge highlight. Actually, just showed me somebody who was just dedicated to making like the hobby, the industry better, right? And applying his skill set in ways that he could do that, and being open, friendly, all of that. So one of my highlights, kind of chronologically coming along with this, was getting to meet Jay.
Yeah, man. I think that's a great highlight. Jay's a great guy. And yeah, man. I could say this about Jay. Like, you don't have to like remind him or anything. Like, if he says he's going to do it, like all of a sudden stuff's just popping in on your phone and there's multiple versions. And man, he's a workhorse. So thank you, Jay.
Yep. Really appreciate it.
Man.
Yeah.
All right. There's no chronological to me. I'm just picking out highlights that I have listed right here. So there was the launch of Reptile Ads, which is near and dear to my heart. So yeah, it's something I've been waiting on for a while. So I technically, I think it's still in the beta live phase, but it is live. It is a good website. Quality. It also integrates with Husbandry Pro and my website. Like it works great for me. So I think it's great that there are other valid listing sites out there in the marketplace, because competition is good for all of us,
Couldn't agree more. Right.
Yeah.
I thought that episode was pretty cool, and I thought that was pretty cool also that they decided to come over to the Reptiles Unplugged to kind of give the first what's up, here we are, this is how it looks. So for me, that part of that shout out right there, or recollection, was pretty cool. And like you said, man, the more options that we all have out here, the better it's going to be for us, the consumer side and the seller side, right? So.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. What's my next one? So let's see. Shane prepped for this and I didn't. So this is trying to act like I did at the same time. I mean, the biggest one for me was getting my first, like, this isn't our show related. This is just my year last year, was getting my first clutch on the ground, kind of coming back. I was really worried after, launching the show, going through the steps and then kind of waiting, and none of my females were going. I'm like, oh no, what did I do?
Yeah.
I'm like, I lost it all. I don't know what I'm doing. So for me, getting that first clutch, seeing those eggs was huge. And it really reignited in me this whole, hey, let's, shoot for the projects that you want. Look at this strategically. Get out there. Start talking with people. So that clutch for me did that, push me.
When you had that clutch, how long had it been since you had a clutch?
3 years.
Yeah, that's a good little stretch.
Yeah. Technically, it was like, I looked a while ago. It was 2 years and like 9 months or something like that. It was almost 3 years.
Yeah, about 3 years. So, I mean, that's close enough. Yeah, so that's got to be a good feeling and all that, too.
Yeah, it really was.
Side question before we go on, though. How was it leaving when you did, with everything that was crazy as it was, and coming back when it had mellowed out, and there's some instability these days. So how was that? Was that a shock, or were you just like, whatever?
Definitely not a shock. It was a whatever, just because prior to me leaving, I'd already gone through an up and a down and a re-up again, right? Like that up again was starting as I kind of left. So I just kind of took it as the normal ebb and flows of the reptile space. But I will say, I'm not going to try and act totally like I wasn't worried at all. This low is a decent low.
Yeah.
And here I was producing animals in a market that I felt was already kind of oversaturated. Yeah. So there was a little bit of a worry, but I am making animal sales, which is good. Some of my more kind of expensive animals have already sold. So I think the market is there. It depends on what you're kind of putting into the market, because some of the stuff that I have for sale that's not as nice as some of the other stuff is still here, right? It's still sitting there. And I think it probably will for a little bit. Just because I think the buyers are really looking for that exact animal that they want, right? People are not just scooping stuff up willy-nilly.
Right. Yeah, we're past that little phase that we talked about earlier, where like sometimes you're buying animals that weren't exactly what you needed, but you could use them anyways. So that's not so much the case right now. So well, that's good, man. Yeah, I was worried about you in the beginning, maybe getting discouraged or whatever. But yeah, man, kudos to you. Hats off to you.
Yeah,
You
thanks.
manned up. We did the show for the year. You started producing clutches. I was happy and excited that you had some eggs in the incubator. Then you had
Yeah.
some babies. I could sense the excitement when you would message me and send me pictures and stuff. So that was cool.
Hell yeah, man. And thanks for being there.
Yeah, man. All right. So you would think I was prepared. I just have random notes though. um, you know, I had a I mean, I'm gonna keep this totally real. So I had an okay production season. Ball python wise, I had 17 clutches. Not my highest, definitely not my lowest. Just a middle type year. But man, I got slaughtered on odds. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, man, I ended up producing altogether 3 visual genetic stripe clown combos out of I don't even remember. We did an episode and I had my numbers, and it's one more clutch since that episode and 6 babies. But I hatched 2 G stripe clowns in that last clutch. So I had a feeling that might happen, and it did. So that was cool, man.
Yep.
But I mean, that's 3 animals I produced this year that I envisioned me hit. Like that was the project I wanted in 2019. All the trials and tribulations got me to here, and I hatched 3 of them in 1 year. Doesn't matter how many it took to get there. I got 3.
Right. Hell
So
yeah.
I'm there.
Good. And they're
Yeah.
stunners.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. So you, one of them was basically the Pompeii Kiki, right?
No.
Okay.
That was no. So I hatched a hurricane red stripe yellow belly genetic stripe clown. So
Yeah.
that was the best one.
That's
It's
the
also
banger.
yeah. So that's also 50% head enhancer. There's a shed test out already right now with phenome. That was a female. I hatched a male hurricane red stripe genetic stripe clown. So he's missing the yellow belly. He's 50% too. And then clutches before that, a backup male ended up taking the clutch, and I just hatched a genetic stripe clown female. But man, she took right off on frozen thawed. She's already over on the adult side of the room. She eats like a champ. She's eating small rats already. So like, yeah, like I'm no, there's no incomplete dominance in there, but like she just like totally fit right in with the frozen thawed. She eats every week. I'm like, oh, like that's a keeper. Like that's and that was the very first one I hatched too. So she's awesome. A keeper. So yeah, I was happy with that. So I mean,
that's a big year for you, man.
Yeah, thank you. And made some more progress with shrapnel stuff. That is my less work gene that I'm playing around with. So I'm really digging that project, and people are interested in it. People are buying them. So that's a good sign all the way around. So
good.
Yeah, man.
Big time. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
So what are some next steps for you? Are you going to push harder into kind of the DG arena with that project, or are you going to bring in some new incomplete dominance? Where are you going next?
I will be doing the triple, yes. DG genetic stripe clowns. Mine will actually be enhancer. If that matters to anybody out there, doesn't necessarily mean a critical ton of things to me, but they are pure enhancer on both sides. So that is something. I am adding more genes as I go, so that line of calico that popped up in my collection, calico, I have a male double het with that gene in there. So that will be something I'm breeding for this year. So yeah, I'm adding more genes, hopefully hitting a triple visual. Yeah. Nice. Again, for people out there, a couple years back, I made a gang load of genetic stripe double het enhancer clowns. Females that I like. Instead of going the double visual, I'm like, no, I'm going to shoot even longer term. All of those girls are breeder size right now. So
nice. And you got
yeah,
that
yeah,
nice male.
yeah,
So there you go. Okay, cool, man.
yeah. So that's where I'm at with that. I'll be adding genes and shooting for the triple, and yeah, it should be a good year, man. I'll be
Yeah.
pretty focused because that will be the vast majority of all my clutches.
Right.
It's
Right.
that type stuff. So
Cool, man. That's awesome. Um, I look forward to seeing that, because that's always been one project that I have liked. I don't have any ingredients in it, right? Like, I mean,
right,
0 G stripe. I have 1 clown female. I got a bunch of DG stuff, but the clown.
yeah, yeah.
So I like watching that one from afar, because I'm like, I couldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole if I tried tomorrow. I'd have
Right.
to be starting from 0. So, um, and it's fun watching other people work it. So, dude, I'm looking forward to it. For sure.
Yeah, thank you, man. Yeah, and I know you're big on the puzzle, so I'm looking forward to all your puzzle stuff too. Again, I couldn't touch anything with the puzzle because I've streamlined away from everything except G stripe clown,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
But
it's
that's the
cool.
fun thing, I think, with this kind of, like, one way that we can help reframe it from each other instead, is like, be excited. Like, hey, it's okay. I can't work that project. I'm not going to talk crap about the project. I'm happy you're working it so I could still see it. Right. Like,
Right.
that's what I want to see. Gilded wanted to know if you're bringing in more Krypton into your projects.
Yes, I am breeding a little bit of Krypton still too. I love Krypton.
Yeah.
It's similar sort of to puzzle, and I always liked puzzle. So when I sold out of puzzle, me hanging on to Krypton kind of fulfills something in that kind of realm, But it works with all my clown, and it'll plug right into the G stripe clown. So I'll be making G stripe Kryptons and stuff like that. So yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. There's definitely been cryptic and Krypton animals that I've browsed through on Morph Market, and I'm like, is that a puzzle?
Right. Yeah, and we got to give a disclaimer. We're not saying they're the same thing. Sometimes they can look similar. A lot of times they don't, but they can resemble each other in some combos. So
yeah, I mean, so cryptic gets wacky patterned, and so does puzzle, and that's where the similarities of the two typically stop.
And the lack of eye stripes, sometimes they can both do that, so that kind of gives a similar vibe sometimes, So
yeah, pinching of the head too. Yeah, for sure. I like, if I had more clown stuff geared in my collection already, cryptic would, for me, be a must-have gene, right? I'd be running Krypton stuff all day long just because I really do like it.
Yeah, for me, it's like working a clown project, but a totally different canvas because they come out so wonky and stuff. So I like them. So
yeah, man.
All right, I got a question for you. Going into 2026,
yeah,
how many clutches do you think you're shooting for?
Oh, it's so funny that I was like 2 days ago on Husbandry Pro making sure my little breeding plan was updated for 26. I could tell you really fast here. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 clutches is what I'm shooting for next year right now. And that might bump up to 14. I've got a couple girls that, like, if they probably ate really well for the next month or two, they would be in the rotation.
So, right. Yeah, I think for me, ball python wise, I think I'll probably be aiming for 25-ish. Here's a good talking point for us that people may get something out of. You know how you get those breeder girls that they're great, but I've noticed that some of them are only really producing every 2 years for me at this point. So I'm like at that stage with them. I'm like, 26, give me a clutch, or you're moving down the road type thing. I don't see, I mean, because they're not like super genetically cool or whatever, you know. They're just whatever, you know. So like, if you're not going to breed when I want you to breed, I mean, and you're going to make me wait 2 years or more between clutches, probably should go somewhere else.
Right. Yeah. You know, so that's a hard one for me because I typically don't go back-to-back years for my girls. I normally give them a year off.
Right.
Yeah. So like most of the girls that laid clutches this last year, I'm not even pairing them. These are 14 new girls basically that are coming in. So I don't know if I would care too much because I kind of put my girls on an every other year deal.
Right.
But what I have started basically saying is, so when I produce something, it should be a purposeful breeding. Something out of that should be elevating my collection, right? My group.
Right.
So I'm gonna give that animal growing up 2 to 3 years to basically, if it's a female, grow up and start producing here in house. That should give me 1 to 2 clutches with that existing female that produced that baby. And then by the time the baby is getting old enough, boom, that mom will go, right? Because I should have the replacement then sitting.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's about how I try to do it. Those females I was talking about there, though, I should have clarified a little bit more, though, too. They're the kind that will eat and lock for a year and not produce, and then go like the following year and do the same thing. And that's why, so I'm kind of like, if you want to fake me out all year and make me wait an extra year, I mean, it's not the end of the world. But now that I'm like looking back, I'm like, this is a pattern.
This is a pattern of you messing with me. I'm not having it. You're out.
Yeah, because I kind of listen. I read the rhythm of the room, and I listen to my females. Like when they're acting like they want to breed, okay, let's breed. So and they should breed and hopefully produce. If they don't, it's not the end of the world. But if they do that like every year, but they're only dropping clutches like every 2, it's like, I feel like I'm getting used.
Right. Yeah.
I'm getting taken advantage of,
Right. Dude, I feel you on that, man. I mean,
yeah.
And two, when we're trying to operate at kind of smaller sizes, right? Like if we had the space to just be, and the time too, but the space mainly just to be like, oh, well, it's fine. I'll just get another rack and put it off to the side over here. Then I think some of these decisions and discussion points that we're having would be less kind of impactful. You know what I mean?
Right.
But for me, just because that's how I'm going to be running my collection, I have to make some of those hard decisions. So like you, okay, maybe it is, hey, I got a female and she really doesn't want to go every year that I try and pair her. She's kind of like off a year. And in my book, that would be 1 clutch every 4 years. So forget about that, right? Like I wouldn't do that. That female would have to be gone.
Yeah.
And I wonder if you tracked how the offspring are of that dame, if they do the same thing. That would be interesting to see if it's her or if it's something hereditary that maybe she's passing down.
Well, that would take some tracking that's well beyond my skills. But offhand, I do know one. So one of those females, her baby is still here. A Batman female that I produced my first year. She produces every year like clockwork, even though the mom's one of the ones that don't. She's like every 2 to 3 year type thing. but eats and locks and acts like she's gonna breed.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
right.
So
Yeah.
in that case, that one baby that I held back,
She
it's
does
not,
good. Right.
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 That doesn't mean the rest of the clutch is not skipping years somewhere else. I mean, I don't know. So
yeah, that's interesting. Gilded was saying it's going to shoot for puzzle kryptons, or cryptics, either one. I'm sure. It might be cool. I don't know. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. That'll be an interesting one. I will patiently await the results of that project there. It could be cool. You never know.
yeah, you never know. There's some theories out there that there's already cryptic puzzles out there. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't looked too hard in it, but
I'm sure that there probably is. I bet you RCR made it and didn't realize it, in all honesty, because he's been kind of hitting that clown puzzle and cryptic kind of arena for a while. But hey, I don't want to discourage anybody. So shoot for it if you think it's going to be cool. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Holy cow. There's been cryptic puzzles on Morph Market. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That is true. Yeah.
Yeah, I know Jessica tracked that whole thing way more than I did. I was just like, yeah, whatever. No.
She has all that tracking.
Yeah.
I was gonna bust out the filter. I did want to see if it's the animal that I'm thinking of. I don't know. Puzzle cryptic. Let's see.
Well, while Adam's looking that up, just a reminder for everyone, next week we will have Kevin from Mutant Reptiles, my homie. So everyone jump over here and check him out. He's got some great stories, super cool guy, and it'll be fun to have him on. Learn a few different things about some other species and everything. So yeah, it'll be a good time.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was Balthazar, Jessica. That's who I was thinking on as well. And I can't remember if he tested the one that is up on Morph Market right now. I don't think says. No, it doesn't say if they tested that one or not. But yeah, I don't know. Interesting. Well, good luck.
Yeah.
And like you said, next week, dude, your buddy Kevin. I can't wait for that one. It'll be cool.
Oh, there he is in the chat. He's Mutant Geckos down there. So next week, Kevin. Woo, man. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, alrighty, bro. We always try and keep this right around an hour. Is there anything else that you had on your mind before?
No, man. Everyone, thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Thanks for hanging out for the entire year of 2025. And that's it, man. Grateful for everyone that shows up.
Yeah, ditto that. Yeah, I appreciate you all out there leaving comments, talking in chat with us. Replay gang, thank you guys. Leave us that little message in there. Give us a thumbs up. Let us know you guys are enjoying the content. And if you are on any of the platforms where you're listening only, be sure to leave us a little review, upvote us, do whatever that platform requires. It does help the show get more circulation. We appreciate you all. And like you said, man, here's to a successful 2026, everybody. Shane, Kevin Lubowski, we will see you next week, sir. And peace out, y'all. Have a good night.